People are still joining, but let's start. Let's start the webinar for the ServiceNow Utah release highlights with our experts on stage. But before we start, I would like to inform you about some housekeeping rules. Please mute your lines, submit questions via the Q&A feature. This one is very important, so not the chat, but the Q&A. We will email you a recording after the session, and for the rest, sit back and enjoy. Our experts of today are Willem, Maud, Tim, Sergio, Sebastian, Rogier, and Maximilian. But before we start, I would like to ask you a question, the first poll question, because we are really curious which ServiceNow release do you have running currently. I will launch the question now. So please vote, because we are really curious. Let's give it 5 more seconds. See, almost everybody is voting. Really great. And then I will end the poll. And I can share the results with everybody. So a lot of people are still on Tokyo, and also almost a quarter on San Diego or older. So that's something we can work on. Thanks for sharing. And let's now start with the webinar. I give it over to Willem Zeiler.
Yeah, thank you, Geerton. I'm Willem Zeiler. I'm a platform architect at Platformation, and I will tell you 3 interesting platform capabilities that I think will really help make work flow. The first one is document intelligence. The second one is mobile, and the third one, document intelligence. Nobody likes to go through like 25 pages of PDFs, looking for the information that they need, typing it over into ServiceNow. So what we highly recommend is the document intelligence. It's available as a store plugin. It allows you to search through a PDF file of 25 pages with large tables, images, and it recognizes the answers that you're looking for, imports that into ServiceNow, and you can use it in your process. So large documents, tables, it really helps you extract that and make that boring task flow for you. Then the second one is mobile, also connected to making the ServiceNow platform more available, easier to reach. ServiceNow has introduced mobile quite a few releases ago, but they improved it in this Utah release. So there's now multi-instance support. So if you have multiple ServiceNow instances, it automatically switches to the right instance if you get the notification. And for example, you have to approve a certain task. You just click on the notification and you can approve. That can be via an e-signature on your mobile. And it also allows you, like you see in the image, to scan barcodes. Deep links are allowed, so you immediately can go to the right task on your mobile, and making it really effortless to interact with the platform. And then the final capability, and next slide, are the teams. So you see on the right in the image, the regular team that we all know. ServiceNow also introduced the dark team. And with the team builder, they've really built that out in Utah. You can easily brand your instance to your company branding. One place, so previously you had to go change the logo somewhere else. That's also all included in the team builder. And you see the dark team, especially if you work late at night, switching to that easier on the eyes. This is a Now platform feature, so you can just enable that in your Utah instance. Then I will hand it over to Maud Stichter for Performance Analytics and Intelligence.
Thank you, Willem. Hello, I'm Maud. I'm the capability lead for Platform Analytics, Reporting, and Intelligence. First, I will tell something about the classic experience dashboarding with the new dark team support, where Willem was also talking about. Then I will explain the new interesting features of the Platform Analytics workspace. And the last highlight is related to process optimization and to add a personal dashboard to a process optimization project. So for the classic experience dashboard, it's easier to read the dashboard with the new dark theming. Willem also mentioned it before quickly, but it's also available for dashboards. It's working for performance analytics widgets, reports, and interactive filters. For the classic experience dashboards, there are no outstanding new features for these dashboards. This is because ServiceNow is working on a new dashboarding user interface, which is called Platform Analytics Workspace. In the classic dashboarding user interface, you had separate widgets, right? It was possible to add reporting widgets and performance analytics widgets, separate builders for it. So for a report, you were able to directly access the table or report source or an external table. With performance analytics widgets, you used indicators and indicator sources. So those are two separate things. And then we are going to the next slide. And the new Platform Analytics workspace is a separate workspace. We also see other workspaces for example, CMDB and the service owner workspace, but the Platform Analytics is also a separate workspace for building and storing dashboards and visualizations. It's now one centralized experience. It's a new user interface, and there is no difference anymore between reporting and performance analytics widgets. And you build the dashboards via the inline editor. ServiceNow is still working on this workspace and improving it every release. But in the Utah release, there are new chart types available. For example, the heat map and the bubble chart. But there are also other improvements, like it's now possible to customize the empty state message. So sometimes you see in a widget that there is no data available. This is not always an error. It's also be possible that there is no data for you, for example, if there are no instances assigned to you. So it's not now possible to customize that message. It's now also possible to have filters for scripted and manual breakdowns, and there are pivot table improvements, for example, for supporting multiple data sources. For now, it's not possible to combine the old dashboards with the new one, but ServiceNow is working on a tool to automatically translate the dashboards that you are using in the old UI to the new workspace. Then the third highlight indeed, thanks, is related to process optimization. Process optimization is a process mining solution to find process inefficiencies, to find the bottlenecks, to have an overview and to have a view of the intended process versus the actual process. And the process optimization workspace in ServiceNow is really nice to get those insights, but it's also combining performance analytics things and predictive intelligence features, for example, to cluster automation opportunities. But related to performance analytics, it's now possible to add your KPIs where you want to focus on in your process optimization project. And then you can track those KPIs and see if those are improved or not after a few weeks, for example. That was it. And I think we are now going to the second poll question.
Yes, thank you, Maud. We are going to the second poll question. So I will launch this one. And please vote. How will you rate your current ITSM maturity? Let's give everybody 10 seconds to vote. We are really curious where you are. Five more seconds. Okay, and then we will launch the results. Okay, a lot of numbers 2 and a lot of number 3s. So if you need any support or if you need any improvement, please contact our experts after this webinar. We are ready to help you in any way possible. And then we will go back to the webinar. I will hand it over to Tim Simon.
Yes, I'm Tim. I'm the capability lead for platform application development, platformation, and I would like to talk about 3 new features or improvements in App Engine. App Engine Studio is the low-code, no-code toolbox of ServiceNow, which allows people without any coding experience to build their own applications on the platform. The first one is Workplace Builder and Experience Templates. Then I would like to talk about improvements in Table Builder and also improvements for App Engine Management Center. So if we go to the first slide, Workplace Builder and Experience Template. So Workplace Builder is the Workspace Builder is in App Engine Studio, the low-code, no-code environment where citizen developers can create and preview and edit workspaces. This was already existing before Utah, but now with Utah, some improvements have been made. There's a preview functionality available, and also the selection of experience templates makes it even easier and faster to create your own workspaces within App Engine Studio. And that can all be done on an easy to use drag and drop user interface. So the second feature I would like to talk about are some improvements to Table Builder. So Table Builder, also part of App Engine Studio, is the place where tables can be created. What is now new in the Utah release for Table Builder is that citizen developers can now use extended tables and very easily by drag and drop map fields and by that build tables a lot faster and more efficiently. Also a new feature in Table Builder that we can see on the screenshot on the right is the schema map, the schema view. So schema view is brand new in Utah, and it allows users to have a really have a good and overview on the tables and all fields which are related, which are part of the application and how these are being related. So that makes it a lot easier, especially for an application which is built in App Engine Studio, which gets a bit more complex and has some more tables and fields involved to get actually a good overview of how these different tables relate to each other. Last but not least, App Engine Management Center. So App Engine Management Center is basically the approach is a tool of ServiceNow to help with the governance when it comes to citizen development. So at Platformation, we also have our own citizen development framework where we help our customers to get started with citizen development. And one tool to actually allow this governance is App Engine Management Center. And now in the Utah release, we have also some really good additions here. So for example, there is for every application which is being built with App Engine Studio, now our own dashboard available. So on that dashboard, we can see actually how apps are being used, how frequently they are being used, and in which way they are being used. And that really helps us to manage the life cycle of applications, to decide which applications should be deprecated, should be improved, or are just doing fine. So yeah, some really good improvements here for App Engine Management Center, which really helps with the governance around citizen development. That's it. And now I would like to hand over to Sergio, who will talk about field service management.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. So my name is Sergio Pinheiro. I'm the Strategic Capability Lead for Customer Service Excellence, or what ServiceNow calls the customer workflows. And today we'll be talking about the highlights for field service management in the Utah release. After what was the territory management, the plant maintenances, and the capacity management features that joined us in the Tokyo release, we now have 3 main highlights in the Utah release, specifically on work order tasks bundles, reserving special equipment, and also process and workflow, process and workforce joining the FSM enterprise licenses. So the process and workforce optimization, my apologies, are joining the FSM enterprise release. If you can move to the next slides. Thank you. So in terms of task bundling, now when using the central dispatch in the Utah release, the FSM dispatchers will also have the chance to bundle different work order tasks for the same dispatch. So what was before singular activities that had to be assigned to a specific field engineer, which could potentially result in multiple travel times and therefore waste and cost inefficiencies, can now be put all together into a single task that is displayed in the dispatch, reducing therefore the, as mentioned, travel times and the costs related to it. It is also a good mechanism for dispatchers to reduce the backlog by assigning more than one task to a single field engineer, reducing, of course, the average resolution time of activities, and also resulting in not only better resolution times as mentioned, but also a better planned maintenance of the activities. The second functionality that is joining in Utah is the reserving of special equipment, or the scheduling of special equipment in field service management. And this is there mostly to support the functionality that was not present up to now, which includes, of course, assigning to work orders and to field engineers equipment that is beyond a part sourcing or a specific asset that will be consumed in a work order, but now reserving other equipment such as forklifts, wire cutters, or any other tools that are normally not necessarily consumed in a work order, but more shared among the different field engineers as again, a tool to execute a specific activity. This, of course, together with the bundling of tasks, results in a better dispatching efficiency, but also a better tracking, planning, and of course, scheduling of these specialized equipment that is normally available for the field engineers. It will also, of course, by having these in place, eliminate the delays that normally would be related to finding out, assigning, and of course, utilizing this specific and specialized equipment. Both these features mentioned so far will be joining in the Pro license of field service management. And the third point that we would like to highlight for the Utah release is, and has already been mentioned for other processes in this particular meeting, and it's the process and the workforce optimization joining field service management enterprise. So process and workforce optimization has been around for quite a while for other processes and other products such as ITSM, but also performance analytics, as my colleague Maud has presented before. Now joining in field service management, the same functionalities and what we got used to have with process and workforce optimization will also be available for the work order and work order tasks that are part of the field service management workforce. With this, we can more easily identify improvement activities or improvement initiatives, by having ServiceNow and the machine learning models analyzing and identifying any potential bottleneck across the process, reading the history of the different work orders, through which stages and states do they normally cycle through, and of course, where there might be or what will be the parts of the process where these inefficiencies could be improved. With this, of course, managers will have a tool to make better informed decisions, but ultimately, this tool provides a better and the necessary information to, of course, result in better improvements initiatives, less and better cost utilization across the process, but also, once again, increasing the organizational dispatch and also the shift scheduling of the process. With this said, I would like to give the words to my colleague and capability lead of CSM, Sebastian Tich.
Thanks a lot, Sergio. So hi, I'm Sebastian, the practice lead for customer service management, and I'm here today to tell you about the awesome new features. So let's see what I got in tow for you. We have the proactive triggers for virtual agent and live agents, a new conversational interface with Google Business Messages, and a new omni-channel callback feature. So let's have a look at the first one, the omni-channel callback. We all know how it is. You call a customer support center and you are stuck in a queue because all the agents are already busy. So now you don't have to wait in the queue anymore. You can formally request a callback through the portal, either by the form that you see on the screen right here, or through a conversation with the virtual agent. This callback can then be scheduled to be either have as soon as possible as the next agent is available, or specified at a later date and time through the channel of your choice. Currently supported is the voice channel, which is a simple call, or Zoom, but in the future, there will be more channels supported. It's a great customer experience. should help reduce the customer effort and also help schedule your agents more effectively. It was an often requested feature that was missing in ServiceNow. Now it's there, and it is part of the CSM standard SKU. So you don't even have to go pro or enterprise to check this one out. So I totally recommend it. It's a low-hanging fruit to generate value. Next up, we have the new conversation interface with Google Business Messages. So imagine yourself on a road trip using your Google Maps to find a hotel nearby and wanting to engage with their customer service to check for reservations. Well, now that's easily possible through this new conversational interface because you don't have to navigate to any Now portal anymore or to a business website with the engagement messenger. You can simply use the Google Business Messages to engage and chat with an agent. It's a feature that is already in use in our day-to-day business, so it's not something new for your customer, and it's not something new for your agents as well, because all the chats will simply be routed into their workspace where they can pick them up and answer the questions of your customers. And as we all know, there are tons and tons and tons of engagements every day that start with a Google service, which could be a Google search, Google Maps, Google Apps, or websites. And those engagements could be potential interactions with your customers. So it's a very attractive feature, especially in the business to consumer business model, because everyone out there is a potential customer for you, and we want to make it easy for them to get in contact. Just like the other feature before, it is part of the CSM standard SKU, so definitely have a look at it. It is worth it for sure. Last but not least, we have the proactive triggers for virtual agent or live agents. We probably all remember back in the day in Microsoft Word documents, we had Clippy, the friendly little paperclip that helped us navigate through Word documents whenever we were stuck. And now we have a similar feature in ServiceNow with the proactive triggers. You can basically, depending on the context and where your customer is, proactively trigger a conversation with either a virtual agent or a live agent to help guide your customers or keep them proactively informed about ongoing campaigns, a loyalty program, or maybe you simply want to let them know that there's a live agent available to chat with if they have any questions. With that feature, as you can imagine, it's a great customer experience. It helps with the efficiency by predicting the guidance your users need, for example, while browsing a catalog or browsing your knowledge base. And it should also help you reduce the number of cases by deflecting them proactively. And just like the other features, this one is also part of the CSM standard SKU. So it's worth having a look at it. And that's it from my side. Thanks a lot for your attention. If there are any questions, hit me up. And I'm handing over to Rogier for the configuration management database.
Yeah, thanks, Sebastian. I'm Rogier Vruchten. I'm a CSDM/CMDB capability lead. I'm here to talk about the following 3 features from the Utah release: the IRE/IR ETL support for non-CMDB tables, the CMDB 360 enhancements, and the CMDB workspace enhancements. Now, first up, the IRE and ETL support for all tables. So the IRE is the integration and reconciliation, the identification and reconciliation engine. It's basically the engine that ensures that everything that goes into the CMDB is properly identified, prevents duplication, and manages different sources so it's managed correctly. The integration of ETL is basically an enhanced version of transfer maps, which previously was specifically for the CMDB, where you can put multiple sources and transform them into the proper tables in one unified space that's very robust. Now, these 2 features are now also available not just for the CMDB anymore, but for all non-CIs. So think about your foundation tables like location, departments, users. These are all tables where you might be getting your data from multiple sources. And these 2 features really help you get your data from multiple sources, but also ensure that they go into those tables correctly. So this is supported by the multi-source capabilities from ServiceNow and also available to view in the CMDB 360 and will improve your data health for tables outside of the CMDB. So this prevents duplicate records, improves reconciliation, and it uses the robust transformation features from integration of ETL to import all that data into your instance. So if you're a customer that's struggling with bad data quality in either one of the foundation tables or any data table in ServiceNow, you can use this to say, hey, this data source is more important than the other data source. This attribute should be identified as such, and it will really improve your data. So if you're struggling with any such features, this is really something that you need to look out for. Now, next up, the CMDB 360 enhancements. So the CMDB 360 is really the management tool from ServiceNow that allows you to keep track of the multiple discovery sources that you use to populate your CMDB. So the CMDB 360 basically retains complete history about discovery sources and what value they propose. Now, the Utah release basically comes with several beneficial enhancements like new multi-source data reporting and analysis, a new multi-source CMDB workspace experience. You can do custom queries and report wizards and discovery sources and coverage. So how will this help you? It will help you in assisting the identification of causes of bad CI data. So you might be getting your server data from SCCM, from discovery, but also from service graph connectors. And with the CMDB 360, you can build reports. You can evaluate what the different data sources provide for attributes. And additionally, you can easily create custom reports in a streamlined and scheduled manner that you can then use to provide analysis and improve the health of your CMDB. Now, last up, I want to talk about the CMDB workspace enhancement. So the CMDB workspace has been out for a while now, and they keep releasing it with more enhanced features. The idea of the CMDB workspace is that it's this one tool where you as a CMDB admin or engineer or as an ITOM consultant or as a data steward, this is kind of your central workspace where you can do all your work. And what they've done in the Utah release is they have enhanced the navigation. They've improved the cloud versus non-cloud visibility, and they also come with a really new, interesting unified map. So the enhanced navigation is about navigating around. They improved the main navigation on the top. They've added a governance piece where you can do things like data steward tasks or attestation. You can see the immediate attention on actions that you need to take, what new CIs have been ingested on the CMDB, which have been rejected, or where there are some issues. And it also shows the total health of your CMDB. Now, the cloud versus non-cloud visibility basically makes it easy to see, hey, which CIs of the CMDB am I getting from the cloud, such as Google, Azure, or AWS, and which of my CIs are still from on-premise, like data centers or locally in offices. So it really allows you to easily see your cloud footprint and show kind of what is the difference that I'm getting from the cloud and what am I getting from non-cloud. Now, lastly, the new unified map. This basically allows users to view relationships. So we all know probably in ServiceNow the dependency map and maybe service map. And this is kind of where ServiceNow tries to bring all those things together in a new unified map that shows alerts, incidents, but it can also be tailored to specific personas or use cases. So it can be different shown for an incident management, incident manager, and a change manager might show the map differently. So that's a really new, interesting feature that will be coming up. Now, next, I want to hand it over to integrated risk management to my colleague, Maximilian.
Yeah, hello. My name is Maximilian. I'm the capability lead of integrated risk management, so IRM or GSD, however you want to call it. And I will present you today three of the most interesting feature of the Utah release of IRM. So the first feature, is about risk appetite and tolerance. The second one is about the new introduced common controls, and the third one is about the enhancement on the issues. To start with the first feature, from the Utah release on, you are now finally able to define your risk appetite and the risk tolerance. We know that based on all the projects we conducted in IRM, that this was often requested, and now with the Utah release, it's there out of the box. So now you can define your risk appetite and or your risk tolerance per risk statement of your risk library, and also on asset level, so on your organizational structure, on your business application, and so on. So what does that mean? So you want to define your risk appetite. So what is the risk you're willing to take for a certain risk or for a certain entity? and what is your risk tolerance? So what can you take? So what is the deviation from the risk appetite you are able to take? So a certain margin to risk appetite you are able to take without being in danger of your goals and objectives you want to achieve. So you can again do that as you can also evaluate risk in a quantitative basis, so with quantitative scale, so in numbers, in euros, in Swiss franc, dollars, whatever, or you can do it on a qualitative basis, as you can see here on the right side, that you define a certain scale. This risk is not allowed to overstep. What does it additionally bring? By defining that, you can compare your risk appetite with the assessed risk. And if the assessed risk is above the risk appetite, you can define certain escalations, like a notification which is sent out, or you can also define that additional workflow steps have to be done. So, like, for example, if the risk is above the risk appetite, an additional approval has to be taken. So what are the benefits of the feature? For sure, first, it also guides the risk managers, but also the first line of defense on the risk management program, because they know which risks they're not allowed to reach, and therefore they know how many risk response actions they have to take, so how many mitigative actions they have to take. It also helps for sure risk managers to focus on those risks where the risk appetite is breached. And for sure, it helps also in the whole automation of the process and in achieving your goals by having additional escalation steps and maybe additional approvals which have to be taken if the risk is breached. As a second feature, I want to talk about common controls. Maybe not the terminology what you would use, but currently in the system, there's no possibility to have controls which are valid for multiple assets. So for example, if you have a single sign-on installed where the IT department is responsible to implement it, it's actually protecting a lot of your business applications. So you don't want that this control, as you have to do it currently, has to be attested by all the business application owner. But actually, there's one team which is responsible for the implementation and the attestation of the control, and this responsible should answer and attest to this control, and the control is then affecting multiple entities. That is a big benefit because that reduces the effort of your first and second line activities, and it helps also to define responsibilities or to also see the responsibilities. So because you can now differ in ServiceNow who is actually responsible for the implementation or for the attestation of a certain control, and which are the assets you are protecting with that control. I have to say this, one important thing is this new feature is only available in the workspace experience, which is a new experience which was introduced some releases ago and is not available in the classic experience. I know it based on our experience, based on our on projects we did with customer and the customer we guided the process, that a lot of our customers are still using the classic user interface. Unfortunately, ServiceNow is deciding that they invest only in the workspace user interface anymore, or a lot of features are only available in workspace user interface anymore, and therefore we highly recommend you to migrate to the workspace user experience. As the third feature, I wanted to talk about the enhancement of issues. Even though that sounds like a small feature, and a small enhancement on the issues, in my opinion, it brings a lot of benefits, and therefore I selected it as the third most important feature, or one of the most important features of the new release. Now you are able to define on issue level multiple controls, risks, or other objects that this issue is affecting. Until now, we're only able to define, okay, you have a one-to-one relationship between a control and an issue. Now, an issue can affect actually multiple controls. Why is this important? First, you immediately can see your major issues. So you are finally able to create that major issues, because if an issue is affecting a lot of controls, you should give it maybe a higher importance. This is also done by an enhancement of the dashboards available in the issue dashboard, where those issues are especially highlighted. And second, it reduces the numbers of issues you manage drastically, because currently you have to track multiple issues for maybe actually one incident which happened, or one thing which is currently wrong, so one finding, because it was affecting multiple controls or risks. Now you can have this one issue which has to be resolved, and you therefore reduce the burden of the issue owners, or the ones working on the findings. Also, this feature is only available in the workspace user interface, in the workspace experience. And with that, I think we are coming now to the Q&A session.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you, Max, and thank you all the experts for showing us these highlights. I saw that there were already some questions answered in the Q&A. If you have any questions for us, please drop them in the Q&A or contact us after this webinar. But let's give everybody 30 seconds to put their question in the Q&A so that our experts can answer these on the spot. Yes, this replay will be shared tomorrow to all registrants via email. Any other questions? Are you sure that virtual agent is in the CSM standards queue? Maybe for Sebastian.
So, virtual agent wasn't really part of it, but I know what you mean, because the proactive triggers were part of the presentation, which can be virtual agent and live agent. But let me take a double check on the virtual agent, which I think is the virtual agent itself is probably still part of the pro subscription, but let me double check. Correct. So the virtual agent, sorry, I should have been a bit more clear. The virtual agent is indeed still in the pro SKU. It's the proactive triggers that can be used for both virtual agent and live agent that are part of the CSM standard SKU.
Thanks, Sebastian. And a question from Tomas. Any updates regarding the manufacturing application, OTM and MPM? Can anyone answer this one? And otherwise, we will find your answer, Tomas, and we will send you the answer by email. So any updates regarding the manufacturing application, OTM and MPM? Nobody? Okay. A question from Mira. Do we require a specific license for CMDB 360 enhancement? Rogier, maybe you know it.
No, you don't.
Okay. Then, if there are no more questions, I would like to thank all of our experts for their time and knowledge. And I would like to thank you all for your time. Hope to see you next time. And make sure that you are subscribed to our newsletter to be informed of all new webinars that are coming up.
There is one question, new
Oh, yeah.
question.
Rogier is already typing. So Rogier is already answering that one. And then maybe we can answer the question from Dick, meaning that it's in ITSM standard. Meaning that it's in an ITSM standard, or is it ETOM only? I don't know.
Can we have a bit more context on the on which other question or on which topic does it refer to, please?
Yeah, I assume it's the CMDB workspace. I'll type an answer.
Yeah.
It's regarding CMDB 360. So
I think Rogier will type the answer.
okay. Then let's wait for that. Any other questions?
I think maybe Rogier, you can share that also just by muting at least the common service data model with the Utah release.
Yeah, so the common service data model, there's no new real release, so they don't really come with the releases as such. So we are on 4.0 now, which means we have the SDLC object, but I would not recommend using it unless you are using ServiceNow DevOps or change velocity. So we are, if you are not using those two modules, then I would recommend just sticking with 3.0, so to say, and follow the regular things that there were, and there are no real CSDM enhancements as such.
Yeah, and in
Okay.
addition, for if you're interested in CSDM, there's a lot of new content also on the CSDM on YouTube produced by on the latest version. So it's not connected to the Utah release, but there is interesting content being published on it.
Okay. Does that answer the questions?
Yeah, and I believe the CMDB workspace is part of the iTunes subscription, but I need to confirm that. So.
Yeah.
Maybe one thing to mention related to the maturity of this of your ServiceNow instance. If you want to improve the maturity, we can always do an assessment and see where we can improve with pro features. So we're there to help.
Rogier, Mira asked, can you share a link to this CSDM content?
Yeah,
I will share
the
contact details with you, and then you can follow it up. So no problem. That's done. Any other questions? I don't see any other questions coming in, so I will close this webinar right now, and I will thank the experts again and everybody listening. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.